Hey film fans, welcome to CinePro, your ultimate hub for all movie recaps. From heartwarming classics to the latest blockbusters. Our movie begins a long time ago in China, when a little girl named Li was searching for the Monkey King. As told in an ancient legend, the legend spoke of him as a very powerful heavenly king, but the celestial rulers imprisoned him and stripped him of his powers because he caused great chaos. Then something unexpected happens to Li. She falls into the hands of some evil demons who want to eat her alive. Feeling terrified, Li tries to escape, though she feels hopeless about succeeding. As the demons approach her to devour her, Li starts crawling on the ground in fear, injuring her hand. But something very strange happens when 2 drops of blood fall from her wounded hand onto a lotus flower. An earthquake shakes the entire place. The earth swallows the lotus flower, cracks open, and both Li and the demons fall into a large, dark cave beneath the ground. Li faints, while the demons remain unharmed because they can heal their wounds quickly. This gives the demons a perfect chance to eat Li while she is unconscious. As they approach her, they hear a mysterious voice coming from behind them in the darkness. They turn around to see who it is, only to find a chained figure, the Monkey King, known as Wukong. He is bound by strong, heavy chains within the cave, a punishment from the gods for his past deeds. Wukong becomes furious when he sees the demons trying to eat Li. The demons blame him for their curse and hunger, saying it's his fault they suffer, as the celestial rulers punished them as well. The demons mock Wukong, calling him useless and worthless. Their insults anger Wukong, and he attempts to attack them, but his chains prevent him from reaching them. Meanwhile, Li regains consciousness, discovers her wound has healed, and feels overjoyed to have finally found the Monkey King she had been searching for. But the demons are still determined to eat her. As they approach her again, Wukong struggles to free himself from the chains to save her. Li tries to escape, but falls to the ground again. This time, her hand touches another magical seal on the ground, which activates a massive fireball that melts Wukong's chains. Now free, Wukong uses the chains as weapons, fighting off the demons and saving Li once more. The cave begins to collapse from the powerful magic unleashed by the seal. Wukong carries Li and escapes the cave just before it collapses entirely. Meanwhile, in an underwater palace, we see the young dragon prince, lost in thought and filled with hatred, anger, and sorrow. He remembers how Wukong destroyed his kingdom long ago, fueling his desire for revenge. One of his servants tries to comfort him, but her words only anger him further. In his rage, the dragon prince grabs her by the hair, breaks one of her horns, and cruelly steps on her as she tries to crawl away. A guard enters to inform the dragon prince that Wukong has escaped the cave. The dragon prince decides to seize this opportunity to track Wukong down and make him suffer even more. Back to Wukong, he learns from Li that she has been searching for him for a long time to help her ascend to the heavens. But Wukong tells her it's impossible now, as the celestial rulers have taken away all his powers. As they walk together, they arrive at Wukong's village, only to find it destroyed. Wukong realizes that the celestial rulers have taken over the village, enslaving all the demons who lived there. The ruler, a descendant of the celestial kings, warns the demons against disobedience, threatening to kill them one by one to instill fear. He mocks Wukong, unaware that Wukong is among the crowd. Wukong steps forward to confront the ruler, but before he can act, someone strikes him from behind and takes him and Li to a house. There, they are offered food by the person who turns out to be the Bull King, Wukong's old friend. When the Bull King asks why Wukong has returned, Wukong explains that he wants to regain his powers and take revenge on the celestial rulers. The Bull King hesitates, then suddenly attacks Wukong, throwing a table at him. Wukong regains his strength but doesn't retaliate. Instead, he takes Li and leaves the house without harming the Bull King. Outside, they encounter the Bull King's wife, the Iron Fan Princess, who is pregnant. She blames Wukong for their suffering and draws her weapon, a giant fan, to fight him. As Wukong prepares to defend himself, a group of demons attacks him, having learned of his presence. Wukong fights fiercely, defeating them one by one. In the heat of the battle, the Bull King suddenly charges at Wukong with his axe. He asks him to surrender to the celestial rulers, but Wukong refuses to forgive them because they did not acknowledge him as a true king. The Bull King attacks him with his axe, but this time, Li stands in front of him to prevent him from striking. Wukong is surprised by Li's bravery, takes her hand, and they escape. Fortunately, they manage to evade the demon's trap set for them. Despite his companion's betrayal, Wukong decides to try to retrieve his weapon again to free the demons from the celestial rulers, as they are his people no matter what happened between them. Meanwhile, the Dragon Prince reaches a secret place inside a mind-controlling weapon enchanted with Buddha's magic to prevent its user from being effective. The Dragon Prince kills the guards protecting the weapon and steals it to use it against Wukong. When we return to Wukong and Li, we find them in a beautiful place called the Flower Paradise, where Wukong used to live. However, their journey is interrupted by a giant gorilla descending from the sky. Li is scared of it, but Wukong reassures her that the massive creature creature was one of his pets. Unfortunately, the gorilla strikes Wukong hard and blames him for the punishment of the celestial rulers, saying it has affected her too. Just as she is about to deliver the final blow, Li throws a banana at her, distracting the gorilla, who runs after it because she is hungry. Wukong is once again amazed by Li's bravery. She gives him a banana since he is a monkey too, and they continue their journey until they reach a cave. Inside the cave, they find a wide space with a golden staff embedded in the ground. Wukong's weapon, the strongest weapon on Earth. Wukong tries to pull the staff out, but fails. Suddenly, a demon who was once his friend appears, the Scorpion King. He reveals that he is there to prevent Wukong from reclaiming his weapon because he now works for the Dragon Prince. Enraged, Li attacks the Scorpion King, accusing him of working for the one who killed her parents. The Scorpion King throws her aside, injuring her hand again. Wukong becomes furious and attacks the Scorpion King, but the latter overpowers him and pins him to the cave wall. The Scorpion King offers them a chance to leave, but Wukong refuses. The Scorpion King then uses his power against Wukong, causing his body to start disintegrating. At this moment, Li rises, and her blood moves toward the magical staff, breaking the spell that kept it stuck in the ground. Wukong manages to pull the staff out and strikes the Scorpion King, who flees in fear. Li tells Wukong that she wants to ascend to the heavens to seek justice for her parents' death. The Scorpion King escapes to the Dragon Prince and informs him of what happened. The Dragon Prince becomes furious that Wukong has reclaimed his weapon, but is shocked to learn that Li was able to break the enchantment on the golden staff. He orders the Scorpion King to bring Li to him, believing she can break Buddha's spell on the stolen weapon. Back in the demon village, the celestial ruler's governor is executing demon families as punishment. When it is the Bull King's turn, Wukong arrives just in time to save his friend with the golden staff. Wukong then confronts the governor, but the Scorpion King intervenes, allowing the governor to escape. Wukong asks the demons to free themselves from their chains, declaring that from now on they will govern themselves. The demons cheer for Wukong, making him their ruler. He begins training them to form a strong army to fight the celestial rulers and reclaim their land. Wukong and his army, including the giant gorilla, attack the celestial rulers, driving them out and achieving victory. As they celebrate at sunset, some demons capture the governor and present him to Wukong for execution. The governor pleads for his life, but Wukong insists on killing him. Just as he is about to strike, Li steps in to stop him, arguing that killing the governor would make him no different from the criminals. Wukong spares the governor, but tells Li he is determined to take revenge on all the celestial rulers. Disheartened by his resolve for bloodshed, Li leaves him crying. In the forest, Li encounters the Scorpion King, who takes her to the Dragon Prince's palace. Upon seeing her, the Dragon Prince strikes her face in anger. He then grabs her hand, injures her palm, and uses her blood to break Buddha's spell on the stolen weapon. The Dragon Prince opens a magical portal with the weapon, locating Wukong and aiming the weapon at him to control his actions. The weapon transforms into a golden crown on Wukong's head, rendering him unable to control his actions. The Dragon Prince uses the weapon to force Wukong to kill his demon companions. Despite Wukong's attempts to resist, the weapon's power overcomes him, and he continues to kill until only a few demons remain. The Scorpion King realizes the weapon's danger and regrets helping the Dragon Prince. Wukong, left alone and grieving for his companions, finds himself unable to break free from the weapon's control. The giant gorilla appears, but Wukong warns her to leave before he harms her too. However, the weapon compels him to attack her, just as he is about to kill her. The Dragon Prince appears with his guards, mocking Wukong and taking the golden staff. Suddenly, a massive fan strikes the Dragon Prince and his guards. And not only that, she also goes and breaks the crown on Wukong's head, which was controlling him. At that moment, we learn that the Monkey King and his wife, the Princess of Metals, are the ones who saved Wukong and took him to their home. There, Wukong still has a thirst for revenge. The Monkey King tells him that blood will only lead to more blood and reminds him that the demons he killed were not destined to live long anyway. Wukong begins to feel that he no longer has a purpose and that he has ruined everything because of his revenge. He disguises himself and wanders aimlessly through the village. Suddenly, he bumps into the ruler, who tells him that the Dragon Prince has kidnapped Li, repaying Wukong's favor for sparing his life. At that moment, Wukong feels he now has an important mission: to save Li. He takes up his weapon and heads to the Dragon Prince's palace. The scene transitions to the Dragon Prince's palace, where we find Li imprisoned in a cell. She's surprised when the Scorpion King enters her cell and decides to help her escape after realizing he was wrong to aid the Dragon Prince. Wukong reaches the underwater palace of the Dragon Prince. As the palace rises to the surface, Wukong enters and confronts the Dragon Prince, demanding Li's release. The Dragon Prince ignores him, enraging Wukong, who attacks him with his weapon. However, Wukong is shocked when the Dragon Prince draws a powerful weapon, a giant trident, and begins to attack him. The Dragon Prince overpowers Wukong and is about to kill him when the Scorpion King intervenes just in time, injures the Dragon Prince, and saves Wukong. Since the Dragon Prince is of heavenly royal lineage, he heals himself quickly. Li appears, and Wukong is overjoyed overjoyed to see she is unharmed, but the Dragon Prince attacks again. The Scorpion King tries to protect Wukong but is captured by the Dragon Prince, who then attacks Wukong, knocking him to the ground and punching him in the face. The Dragon Prince throws his trident at Li, intending to break Wukong's heart by making him suffer deeply. Wukong tries with all his might to intercept the trident before it reaches Li, but he fails, and the trident kills her. Wukong is devastated by her death. Taking advantage of Wukong's grief, the Dragon Prince attacks him with the trident. However, the Scorpion King manages to free himself and attacks the Dragon Prince. As the Scorpion King grabs the prince, some of the prince's blood spills onto him, turning him golden and increasing his strength. The Scorpion King throws the trident back at the Dragon Prince, but Wukong's newfound power shatters the trident completely. The Dragon Prince, realizing he has no other way to defeat Wukong, transforms into a real dragon and attacks. Wukong retrieves his golden staff and fights the Dragon Prince, striking him until the dragon disappears. With his golden staff, Wukong pierces through the Dragon Palace, lifting it up toward the heavens, fulfilling his promise to Li before she died. Lightning begins to strike Wukong's body, but he endures it with patience. He ascends to the sky and descends with Li. However, he finds the Dragon Prince waiting above. Wukong flies toward him and lands on his head, striking him hard to avenge Li's death. He manages to knock the Dragon Prince to the ground and prepares to deliver a final blow with his golden staff. But at the last moment, Wukong remembers Li's words, that revenge only leads to more revenge, and decides to spare the Dragon Prince's life. Wukong's demon friends arrive to help him in the battle, but Wukong shares Li's advice with them. That blood only leads to more blood. Suddenly, a great golden light appears, and the great King of Heaven congratulates them all for choosing forgiveness over revenge. He assures Wukong that he will reunite with Li in eternal life. 100 years later, Wukong decides to settle in the same cave where he first met Li. While meditating, he sees a monk descending into the cave. Wukong feels that this monk is Li's spirit in another body. And with that, our movie ends. Thank you for watching.